tell y'all about Lemuel Plummer here. What did I tell y'all? I tell y'all I know a surviving Lemmy documentary when I see one. Yeah, let me tell you something. If there ain't nothing else I know about Zeus, it's that the who run it is using it to bitches. You don't need no evidence, no lawsuit, no lie detector test to tell you that.
Receipts, proof, timeline.
You can see that, you know, based on the fact that he's been publicly the gals on the network.
Oh my God, bro.
Anyway, so I say all that to say, I already tell you all that. So imagine my not surprise when I saw TMZ report that Lemmy is being sued for exactly that. Yippee! One of the gals from Baddies, a gal named Jaden Brown, sued Lemmy in a California court for all manner of things. She filed a civil lawsuit in the Los Angeles County Superior Court accusing Lemuel and Zeus Network of sexual assault, sexual harassment, coercion, retaliation, and wrongful termination.
Electric chair.
This is according to TMZ, who reported on it first. I don't believe that the documents have yet been made available online. I think TMZ went and did their real footwork detective work and gone and get this document from the courthouse, you see? But it's not online yet. Otherwise, I'd be reading the complaint to you. But maybe when it does finally hit the internet, maybe I'll double back and we'll talk about it. But I'll tell y'all how it was summarized by TMZ and then reported on by the rest of the outlets. According to the New York Post, the lawsuit alleges that Lemuel Plummer first contacted the girl Jaden in 2023 after she auditioned for after she had already auditioned for Baddies Gone Wild. She claims that he later invited her to lunch under the pretense of discussing career opportunities, then allegedly told her that her future with Zeus depended on having a sexual relationship with him. This was in 2023 when she was 19 at the time. Let me just say this too, because Lemuel Plummer is a big, crusty 38-year-old man.
Disgusting.
So that's a 40-year-old, which means 3 years ago, he was still pushing being a 40-year-old.
Drop him in the toilet.
When he's buttering this 19-year-old girl.
Bruh.
Now, she alleges that he repeatedly pressured her throughout 2023 and 2024 while telling her she had a great personality for Baddies and would be a star on the show. Let me tell you something too. We're gonna get to Lemmy's denial because you know Lemmy denying his tooth and nail, and we're gonna get to his denial, but I just want to make sure I point out that it's very hard to act like you don't be girls in the network and promising them that they could be stars when you quite literally just had a baby with a gal in the network that you obviously made them kind of promises with, because the first thing you do is go give her I don't even know what you would call that. He needs to call that a limited series. I've seen them trying to call that a documentary, and they better don't sully the good word documentary with what that is. And limited series usually feel more prestigious than what this is, but they only gave it 5 episodes, which is crazy. You would think who run the network and having this baby would get you more than 5 episodes of your spinoff show, but whatever. Hard for him to act like he don't promise gals anything in exchange when you was a gal on Baddies, and soon as she get pregnant, now she gets special treatment and she have her own show, and you giving her executive producer credits on Scotty with the Baby and thing, which he did, because they is true executive producer around at Zeus Network like they don't know what. But yes, Jaden Brown says that she was eventually cast on the show in January 2025, but she claims the alleged harassment continued, and the suit alleges that days before filming of Baddies began, Plummer pressured her into sex again and had her sign an NDA about their relationship. In one allegation cited in the complaint, Brown claims that Plummer pressured her in March 2025 while she was intoxicated, and when she said she was on her period to avoid sex, he allegedly asked for proof and continued pressuring her until she complied. And we're about to go through Lemmy's response to this lawsuit, and I don't mean his legal response because you do have to file a legal response. I just mean the statement that he put out on Instagram, because Lemmy does that every single time a gal accuses him of anything. He is jumped to Instagram with a long caption talking about how they talking shit. Which reminds me to make sure that I mention that this is not the first time that Lemmy has been accused of things like this. This is the first time he's been civilly sued as far as we know. This is the first lawsuit against him for it. But Lemmy has been accused on word of mouth and publicly online by numerous people and numerous gals that have been on the show of abusing his powers and doing all kind of. But again, I say, our common sense, our eyes. But this is what Lemmy say. We're not only gonna go through what Lemmy said in his caption, we're going to go through the 20 screenshots that he selectively, because I'm telling you, this man say, I could use every tool Instagram give me at my disposal to fight this here, okay? I have a whole 20 post carousel with specially selected text messages to prove that this gal full of shit. But it don't prove that, but we can get to it. This is what the captions say before we get through the text messages. I met her in 2023, shortly after my previous relationship ended. I wish he would stop doing that. He's always, Lemmy is always trying to pretend that his relationship with that gal, what she YouTuber's name? What is it? Lemuel Plummer ex-gal. The one he was cheating on with Scotty. What's she name? Oh, I type in ex-gal on Google like they know what that mean. Oh my lord, I think Google Bahamian ex-girlfriend. Okay, there we go. Janisha John. He always trying to pretend that him and Janisha break up a long time ago. He was cheating. That's what you mean to say. So you already start off the statement lying. After my previous relationship ended, you mean while my previous relationship was going on and I was wherever I wanted all over the place, so that's what I used to do. It's interesting how men like Lemmy go out of their way, and you see this all over Scotty with the baby and all over the place and on the Breakfast Club, wherever he is, he goes out his way to let you know that he is not in a monogamous relationship. He's free to do whatever he wants, yet also always trying to pretend like they live in a faithful life. Like these things, always trying to make sure you don't catch them on the overlap. And it's like, baby, if it's on the up and up, if you could do whatever you want, how come you don't tell us about the whatever you want that you obviously doing? Why you gotta lie?
Why the fuck you lying?
But before we get deeper into the video, y'all know your girl has merch, right? That's right. The Illuminativerse has merch, so you can rep your favorite channel. Whether you're an Illuminati pop girl like myself, an Olay and chill enthusiast like my baby sister, an Olay and friends stan like all my friends, somebody who likes to scream with me on Illuminati bites, or somebody who locks in for a 2-hour Illuminati production, we've got something for you. We've got mugs, shirts, and hats. It's all very cute because Cartoon Me is adorable. Shout out to Toonrific Tariq for being the man behind her. And to my pop watchers in particular, please know that you wore me down and I finally gave y'all the Shoot Me With Your Big Gun merch that y'all kept begging for. Look how cute your Shoot Me With Your Big Gun merch is. Oh my God, to be an Illuminati pop girly. But I genuinely love my merch, not just because it's mine, but because I ordered everything myself before showing it to y'all so I could make sure the quality was good, because I could not have y'all spending y'all hard-earned money on garbage, which is why I am pleased to report that I have a cupboard full of the most beautiful glossy mugs and a drawer full of the comfiest Illuminati shirts. So if you've ever wanted to support the channel or rep your favorite corner of the Illuminativerse, or just walk around with my cartoon face on your chest like a true fan, check out the merch store linked in the description below, or go to illuminati-shop.fourthwall.com to make sure you get your Illuminati merch. Again, that's illuminati-shop.fourthwall.com, or click the link in the description below, or use the QR code on screen to run me your money today. Now let's get back to the video. But anyway, start off lying. I met her in 2023 shortly after my previous relationship ended. Our relationship began as a friendship, not as a business relationship. There were no conversations about baddies, Zeus, employment, or me hiring her. As Zeus continued to grow, she began repeatedly expressing interest in joining the network, and before and after auditioning, repeatedly followed up asking whether I had watched her audition, whether she would be cast, and when she would receive an answer. Now let's break that down. Our relationship began as a friendship, not a business relationship. He wants you to believe that he was friends with this gal already, right? Which, by the way, is like not the case. Based on everything that you're saying, you went out of your way at the beginning of the statement to let us know that your relationship had ended, because obviously the relationship that you're having with this young woman is sexual. That's why you start off the statement by trying to say, hey, it wasn't happening in my previous relationship. So it's already established that you had a sexual relationship with this young woman. Okay, so let's start there. The young woman is saying that the sexual relationship started after, she's saying the relationship she had with you, which you've now admitted sexual, started after she finished auditioning. You're saying that, oh no, I met her and it was a friendship, not a business relationship. But it wasn't a friendship, it was a sexual relationship, right? Like, that's not your friend. Very, very much so, according to her characterization and yours, based on the text messages that he gonna show, because no part in there are they friends, right? So this is a sexual relationship that she's saying starts after she already had auditioned. That's when she beat him after she auditioned. And he's saying that, oh, she later decided she was interested in Zeus. But regardless, you're her, no?
No.
Before and after, even if you wanted to look at it in the light that Lemmy wants you to believe, that he met a young woman and then she just out of the blue, after he'd already begun conducting a relationship with her, she just out of the blue decided to audition for Zeus. But then at which point you kept her, no? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how, as a professional, as a person who runs a network, even if we looked at it in the light most favorable to Lemmy, if we believed what he wants us to believe, oh, that he met a young woman, started a young woman, then that woman started trying to get a job at his company, and then he kept her. That's what he wants you to believe, is that he was sleeping with her, she wanted a job at Zeus, and so she started badgering him for this job at Zeus, but you kept her, no? So you see how that's already somebody who was professional, just period, who's professional, wouldn't keep doing that kind of shit. But anyway, let's keep reading the statement. Lemmy is telling us that in 2023, he, a 35-year-old man, met this 19-year-old girl and began a sexual friendship with her, and then she decided she wanted to work at Zeus and started harassing him for a job at Zeus.
That is not correct.
Okay, that's what he wants to believe. Let's proceed. As Zeus continued to grow, she began repeatedly expressing interest in joining the network, and before and after auditioning, repeatedly followed up asking whether I had watched her audition, whether she would be cast, and when she would receive an answer. So you were already conducting a sexual relationship with her before she auditioned. And before she auditioned, she let you know that she wanted to work at Baddies. And then after she auditioned, she let you know she wanted to work at Baddies. And you, as the CEO of the network and the executive producer of that show, continued sleeping with her by your own admission.
Did you sleep with your goddamn
talent?
What?
Okay, he said, she repeatedly followed up asking whether I had watched her audition, whether she would be cast, and when she would receive an answer. I consistently told her what I tell everyone. If you want an opportunity at Zeus, you have to audition and earn it through the same casting process as everyone else. I also made it clear that I wanted to keep friendship and business separate because the repeated conversations about being casted were becoming a turnoff. Let's break those statements down, shall we? She expressed interest. So you're the 19-year-old girl that wants to work at Baddies and has let you know. This is Lemmy's version of the events.
Just as a thought, trash.
You're the 19-year-old girl that has let you know she wants to work at Baddies. Bruh. She then auditions for Baddies, and she still keeps letting you know you are the CEO of the company and you are the executive producer of the show. And you are sleeping with a young woman that has applied for the show. Let you know as she's applying for the show, she's talking about it repeatedly. And you think that it's really interesting the kind of advantage he takes of his awareness that maybe regular lay people don't understand what professionalism is. Because he thinks that he's saying, oh, I told her that I wanted to keep friendship and business separate.
You're a fucking idiot.
Let's start before I even finish the sentence, because the sentence gets more problematic even after that. He's trying to make you believe that he was acting professionally by telling her he wanted to keep friendship. And let's understand that friendship is the word he's using for the sexual relationship he's having with this woman. So I want to keep the sexual relationship I have with you separate from the business relationship where you are trying to work for me. So you see how nothing goes so? You see how that doesn't work? That's not actually professionalism. You cannot sleep with somebody that is trying to work for you that has. You can't just say it doesn't become professional because you say, hey, our business relationship is over here and our sexual relationship is over here. No, the moment you have a sexual relationship and a business relationship, the professionalism has left the room. You can't say those things are separate because they're not. You're already acting unethically. You're already raising the questions by continuing to sleep with this young woman that you know is trying to work for you. You've already raised a million red flags and ethical questions and created the kind of legal quandary for yourself that you find yourself in now. But let's proceed, because like I said, that statement gets worse. He says, I also made it clear that I wanted to keep friendship and business separate because, now that's really important, let the why he wanted to keep his sexual relationship and business separate. It's not because he's trying to maintain professionalism. It's not because he's trying to protect his company, legally protect himself, none of that. He said, I made it clear that I wanted to keep friendship and business separate because the repeated conversations about being casted were becoming a turnoff. That's why.
And you guys think you ate.
The only reason he's trying to even create the separate line between the sexual relationship and the business relationship is because that don't get his dick hard. Being reminded of any kind of implied or explicit obligation he's made to this young woman is a turnoff to him.
Tomato, tomato, tomato.
He don't want to be reminded of that. He don't want to have that conversation. So then he said, friendship never guaranteed employment, and employment was never a condition of friendship. Again, I want to say he continues to use the word friendship to discuss the sexual relationship he had with this woman as though like, do you know that the court is not like your girlfriend, right? Like when you go try to tell your girl, it reminds me, listening to him continuously call her his friend and invoke friendship reminds me of the early seasons of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta when Scrappy would keep calling Shay his friend while he cheating on Erica Dixon and sleeping with Shay. Shay's my friend. That's my friend. That's my friend. That's my friend. That's my friend. That ain't your friend. That's a bitch your friend. And same thing here. That's a gal. He's So he said, friendship never guaranteed employment, and employment was never a condition of friendship.
Go back to sleep and starve.
But that's not your friend. That's a young woman. That is a 19-year-old girl that you're sleeping with, that you said, by your own admission. Again, I'm not even assessing this based on what she's saying happened. I'm assessing it as though what he's saying is true, right? So by what he's saying, you met a 19-year-old girl that you started sleeping with that told you that before she ever auditioned for Baddies, that she wanted to work at Baddies. And then she auditioned and she kept telling you. And by your own admission, she kept badgering you and badgering you and badgering you about Baddies to the point where you consider that a turn off. So obviously it has become clear, even if I believe your version of events and not hers, right? And I believe you saying it was never an explicit deal that you would get her a job at Baddies, you at least understand that she wants to work at Baddies, and that obviously is her primary focus and goal. And you still, as the CEO of that network and executive producer of that show, continue to sleep with her. And then you say, oh, friendship was never a part of that. Y'all don't have, this has nothing to do with friendship. This has something to do with whether you explicitly or implicitly knew that this young woman was sleeping with you in exchange for getting a role on Baddies. But even if I believe you that you didn't explicitly promise her that she would get a job at Baddies if she slept with you, you're still telling us that you were sleeping with her knowing that that's what she want and you worked there. Okay. He said, friendship never guaranteed employment, and employment was never a condition of friendship. Those were always two separate things. But they're not, and they can't be. You can't be somebody that may potentially work at your company and then you then go and hire and you think that you can separate the existing sexual relationship you have with them. They're not separate things. They don't become separate just because you would like them to be. That's why you're getting sued. He said, I never promised her a role, guaranteed her employment, or promised fame or success. She was not originally selected for the cast. Only after another cast member withdrew shortly before production did I suggest she be considered, and the production team ultimately approved bringing her onto the show. So you're sleeping with the young woman who has made herself clear now for 2 years. You're sleeping with her. You have a sexual relationship with this woman from 2023 to 2025, and she wants to be on the show. She's sleeping with you, and then you suggest that she be hired for the show. Where aren't you seeing the quid pro quo? How you ain't seeing? It's also funny to me how he tries to pass the buck like, oh, I just recommended it, and you know, the production team ultimately. This your shit. This is your network. It's your network. You own the thing. You're the executive producer. It's your show. It's your network. It's your show. The production team works for you, and you told them to put this gal on the show. So what the do you mean they ultimately decided to do it? That's what they do. Bruh. Like what? That's like me, like me saying, oh, I just told Aaron to send the Olay and Friends invites to such and such, but like ultimately Aaron decided, no, that's not how that go. I decided, and then to work for me, do it. That's what he did. Okay. He goes on to say that decision was made because it was an unexpected vacancy, not because of any promise or obligation. Later, after she was not selected for a subsequent season, the nature of our communications changed and legal threats were raised. I made it clear that our friendship meant more to me than any business opportunity, and that any future professional relationship would only happen with appropriate legal agreements in place to protect both parties. I made it clear that our friendship meant more to me. You hear what he's saying to defend this? A young woman is saying that he had a sexual relationship with her in exchange for a job, and she's arguing that he continued trying to sleep with her, and when she didn't want to sleep with him no more, she didn't go along with whatever he wanted, and she was fired. That's what she's alleging. And he's trying to tell you, oh no, I just happened to be sleeping with her. She really wanted a job on Baddies, but that didn't have nothing to do with me. And I mean, like, eventually, yeah, like I got her a job on Baddies, but I didn't really get her a job on Baddies. I mean, I just kind of recommended it and they did it. And then like they fired her, like, you know, somebody, I don't know, like she just wasn't invited back. I don't really know who do the invitations or what at my network, but she just like wasn't invited back. At which point she got a little mad, like, and I'm like, babes, it's not a big, like, why are you getting upset about not having a job or not getting your paycheck or something? That's not as important as sucking my dick. Like, what, you don't think it's more important that we maintain the sexual relationship we have? Who cares about whether or not you have this job? You hear this? He said, I made it clear that our friendship meant more to me than any business opportunity, and that any future professional relationship would only happen with appropriate legal agreements in place to protect both parties. She mutually agreed and signed, and so did I. I categorically deny the allegations against me. I also have additional contemporaneous communications and evidence that, in my view, provide important context to the full timeline and will speak for themselves when the appropriate time comes. I intend to vigorously defend my reputation and pursue any legal remedies that my attorneys determine are appropriate, including claims of defamation if supported by the facts and the law. Now, let's read the screenshots that he carefully handpicked to compile to debunk what this girl's saying. So this is the conversation. This is 2025. This is when the conversation is showing. That they're showing a text that she texted him on January 8th and said, "Hey, I seen what's going on in Cali. Just wanted to check on you, make sure you okay." First of all, you could see just a little bit over that. The message before that was, "You seen my audition tape?" ? But anyway, she said, "I want to check on you and see if you're okay." He responds January 9th, 2025 and says, "Yes, I'm good, babe. Thanks for checking on me," with a bunch of heart emojis. Then you see on January 15th at 6:01 p.m., "You're lame as blocked." And I think this is what's important too. Not only is this man selectively picking 10 to 20 text messages between him and a woman he's essentially admitted to having a sexual relationship with for the last 2 years, for the last 3 years, 2023 to I assume 2026, she's just now filing this lawsuit. You are carefully selecting these like communications between y'all. Like, we can't even like tell whether or not you have edited these at all, deleted different like parts of the communication. But for sure, we know even based on what you're showing that it's clear y'all have had some other interaction. There's something else that's being referenced. Like y'all had some other phone calls, some other in-person meetup or something that transpired in between the text messages that you showing us. Because what would she be talking about, right? Because then from there you see January 15th, she says, "You're lame as block." What is she saying that about? Obviously something, but we don't know what that is. So he says, "Huh?" Then she said, "Didn't you say 20 minutes? Do you need my audition tape?" So she's obviously referencing a previous conversation that they have had and some kind of understanding that they have regarding her going on baddies or this tape or whatever the right? Then he shows this January 15th, 2025. She said, "Didn't you say 20 minutes? Do you need my audition tape?" And he said, "Yes, send it to me." And she sends the audition tape. So is that not you having a direct relationship with this young woman that you're sleeping with?
You're a loser.
Is that you not directly involved in the business of her trying to get onto baddies? How are those separate? You can't decide later on, oh, it's separate. No. This is you showing that you and her have some direct, clear-cut communication about her working on baddies. That's not though. You saying I tell everybody to go through the regular process. Is the regular process for getting hired at baddies you and being able to text you directly the audition tape? Is that the standard process that everybody goes through to get hired at baddies? If it is, you need to get sued some more. Sound like there needs to be a class action.
Give me your fucking money.
So she sends the video. Then January 16th, you see her say, "Call me." And presumably, he probably did. Then January 18th, she say, "Hey, what are you doing, love?" ? He said, "Hey, I'm home, you." She said, "I'm out and about right now on the way home." Then on January 19th, she said, "Hey, I have a question." He said, "Yes, ? She said, "I had submitted the audition. I didn't know what was next. Like, do I get a confirmation or ? Later on that day, she said, "Or can you call me when you get a chance?" Then he says, "Jaden, blowing me up about baddies will push me away. I expressed to you how I felt." Do you think, like, again, to what I said earlier, do you think you expressing that a gal is turning you off, a gal who wants to work at baddies, that you know that this gal is you and wants to work at baddies, whether or not you're somehow delusionally telling yourself in your brain, "Oh, I know she's fucking me and I know she wants to work at baddies, but I don't think she's fucking me because she wants to work at baddies. Oh, I just think women really want to fuck me." Okay, so even if you're telling yourself that, you think telling those women that it's a turn off is the same as not being guilty of engaging in this inappropriate relationship? But
Sure, Jan.
so he says, "I told you how I felt." And she said, "I was just asking. So is this how you want to act? ? Bet, watch this." So he said, "Shut the f up talking to me, obsessed weirdo asshole. You sound dumb as f. Actually, you watch this, LOL." Do you see what I'm saying about the professionalism thing? Like, I'm just trying to like figure out where you think you could talk to like potential employees as It's just funny because let's just analyze it from all the angles that Lemmy wants us to analyze it in, right? She's saying that she was sleeping with him and he had her sleeping with him so that she could get this job at Baddies. And he's saying that no, this was just my treasured friendship. Now, let's read how he is talking to his treasured friend and potential employee for whom he was not involved in the procurement of employment for. "Shut the f up talking to me, obsessed weirdo ass hoe. You sound dumb as f."
I think you're ugly. I think you're fat. I think you're stupid.
Is that who you want me to believe was just your friend? The friendship that was just so much more important to you that be preserved instead of worrying about the whole issue of her getting fired from the job. Are you for real? This is a young woman that you're and is making it clear that the only interest she have in you is the job. and you are actively engaged in that. Anyway, so after that, it's obvious that they have communications have been deleted and they had phone calls or whatever other kind of interactions between there, because the next text message you see after the actually you watch this is on January 27th of 2025, and she says, "Hey, you've been okay?" ? And then he said, "Hey, I'm good. How are you, love?" She said, "I'm good too. I'm flying in tomorrow if you still wanted to see me." He said, "Okay, sounds good. Of course. You fly in today?" Then she said, "Yes, just made it." Next message, "Good morning, love." He said, "Hey, good morning." She said, "Are you busy today? I want to see you." He said, "Pretty busy, but what time are you thinking?" She said, "Sorry, I was in a meeting, but it don't matter. I can work around your schedule. On the way." And then he says, "1 sec," and then she sends a location. And then she said, "Hey, love, I'm here." And then he said, "Hey, are you good? In VIP? ? She says, "No. What do I do? I'm out in the rain." And he said, "Walk to the front and FaceTime me." She said, "Okay." Then she sent another message and said, "I can't even get through." Then she sent another message and said, "Hey, love, when are you coming to the VIP room?" Then the next message you see, that was on January 31st. "Hey, when are you coming to the VIP room?" Presumably, right? So he on his way to meet her into the VIP room at what club or whatever the they at. Then January 31st, 2025 at 11:06 p.m. So later on that night, her message was, "When are you coming to the VIP room?" at 1:12 p.m. Then at 11:06 p.m., he said, "Did you audition?" Is this somebody who has her going through the same process as everybody else with no involvement into her getting a job at Baddies? So you meeting bitches in the VIP, they flying out to see you. You meet her in the VIP, hours go by, and then afterwards or whatever, "Did you audition?" She says, "Yes, thank you for looking out for me. Wish I got to talk to you." Heart emoji. Thank you for looking out for me.
Stop texting me right now, bitch.
Like, are we not seeing? She's f***ing him. She sent the audition directly to him. He made sure get her through there and get her into the audition. And here she is, text confirmation. He giving her special treatment. Here he is. By his own, the messages he is showing us, he is a young woman and getting her special treatment for getting a job at his company.
Disgusted. I'm revolted.
So he said, "Did you get a ticket?" She said, "Yes, but my group was rushed. I didn't even get a chance to do nothing, LOL. And at the end, when I was gonna fight, production was on my ass. So out of respect for you, I just left. But I told Nat," presumably Natalie Nunn, "but I told Nat to remember my face, and she said she did. So hopefully y'all can at least consider me for BGW." I'm assuming that's baddies and them other letters sound for something else. Baddies, one of them other bodies. "For what I did give." On February 1st, 2025, so the next day, she says, "Call me when you get a chance, love. It's important." He goes, "Hey, what's going on? What's important? Text." Then he said, "How you gonna comment on my post and not text me back, LOL?" She said, "I wanted to talk on the phone. I assumed you were busy." And then that same day at 4 o'clock, she said, "You'll hear from my attorneys." He said, "Huh? Hello? Call me." She said, "Hey, I'm sorry I was emotional. Please disregard that message about attorneys. I would never do anything to intentionally cause harm to you. I'm looking forward to working with you." He said, "Hey, I appreciate your text. It's okay, and I would never do anything to hurt you. I believe you're talented and will be successful wherever you're at. Only want to bring out the best in you. Thank you again for auditioning for both Baddies Gone Wild and Baddies West." This relationship, by the text messages that you're showing, you had an inappropriate relationship with this girl and you were using your position at the network to secure her favor in the audition process and to move her along. That's clear. Nothing about these text messages he's showing is communicating that he didn't have an inappropriate relationship with her. And it's funny, to what I said earlier, he is taking advantage of lay people who don't understand professionalism and their inability to understand the difference between inappropriate workplace behavior and whether something is just consensual sex and work. Like, they don't get it. He thinks he's gonna show, look, she's communicating with me. She's consensually engaging with me. But the point and where the lawsuit truly comes from, it's not just based on consent. It's not just an issue of consent. It's not just a matter of whether she consented to having a sexual relationship with you or she knowingly and willfully engaged in a relationship with you. It's also about the fact that she is saying that you used your position at the network. You promised her the kind of treatment, that special treatment that we can see that she's getting in these text messages in exchange for sex. So she's not saying, she's saying you made an agreement with her. You took advantage. You were behaving inappropriately and unprofessionally and unethically in the first place by the fact that you were using your position at the head of this network to curry sexual favor from young girls. But then on top of that, you're promising them those sexual favors and promising them employment and then getting rid of that employment when they don't proceed on.
We need to settle.
She's saying that she engaged in a sexual relationship with you in exchange for a job at Baddies, and that when she didn't want to engage in a sexual relationship with you no more, you fired her. Do you see how that's different than whatever? And I think it's also worth noting, I seen like he posts this for people who don't know no better. People like, oh, she seems unhinged, she seems like this, because she like, oh, she said, hey, I'm sorry I was emotional, please disregard that message about the attorneys, because she threatened him. But what I think is important to understand is that he's sleeping with this young woman. He knows the text messages he showed directly contradict the caption, the Instagram caption that he had on those text messages, because again, in that Instagram caption, he repeatedly is like, oh, they're completely separate. I have a separate, my sexual relationship, but it has nothing to do with the business relationship. I told her that I have nothing to do with her getting a job at Baddies, and she would have to go through the process like everybody else, but that's not what the text messages show. The text messages show you actively looking out for her and helping move her further along to get a job at Baddies. And what she is saying is that she was having sex with you in exchange for that job, and that you then fired her when she wouldn't continue having sex with you. So nothing about these text messages negate that. In fact, it lends more credence to them. The fact that you showing us that you had this relationship with her, you showed us that you was out here going out of your way to get her this job and to move her further along in the auditions, and that she threatened you when whatever wasn't happening in these text messages or whatever was going on, she immediately brought up lawyers, and you still proceeded on with her. You didn't, oh, what are you talking about? Why would lawyers ever come up in it? Oh, what are you saying? No, you respond, hey, I appreciate your text. It's okay. I would never do anything to hurt you. I believe you're talented and will be successful wherever you're at. I only want to bring out the best in you. Thank you for auditioning. Like, that is directly a part of y'all's transaction, a part of all of your communications. At no point is her not working at Baddies not very heavily prevalent to the dynamic and sexual relationship you're having with this young woman. So what are we talking about? He's posting these to win in the court of public opinion. He wants to discredit her to people who don't care about the law. They don't care about the nuances of the argument. They don't care about inappropriate workplace relationships. They don't care about workplace harassment. They don't care about unequal power dynamics. They don't care about what it means for a CEO to be using his position to sleep with women, promise them jobs. They don't care about none of that. He wants to show, oh, she coming to y'all now to complain because she ain't get what she want. That's all he's trying to say. Oh, she's a hoe who was sleeping with me. She wanted a job at Baddies and now she ain't get it. And da-da-da-da-da. And that only matters to who want to slut shame women and just have like blanket misogynistic conversations or whatever on the street. That ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China or the law. So, child, these is text messages. I'm interested to see where this lawsuit goes. I'm interested to see where all the inevitable lawsuits that will come. They might not come today. They might not come tomorrow. They might not come this year. They might not come next year, but they will come. They will come.
Do not come.
Mark my words, this is not going to be the first time that this young man gets sued for doing this kind of shit. Because regardless of how he tried to spin it, you ain't supposed to be no 19-year-old girl. You ain't supposed to be the young women that you employ, the young women that you will potentially employ, anything like that. Everything you're doing is inappropriate and opening you up to the lawsuits that you are now facing. I tell y'all about Lemmy. That's all I come to say. I tell y'all about Lemmy. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, congratulations! You've officially wandered into the Illuminati-verse. Now, before you get overwhelmed, let me explain where exactly you've landed, because apparently one YouTube channel was not enough for me. If you're looking for my biggest productions, the kinds of videos that require me to disappear into a cave for 6 weeks and emerge with an existential crisis, subscribe to Illuminati, my flagship channel, where you'll find my magnum opuses like If Pretty is a Privilege, Ugly is a Curse, How This Didn't Age Well Destroyed Media Literacy, How Men Become Aziz Ansari, Why Serial Killers Aren't Monsters, and so much more. If you're here because you love television, movies, and hearing me explain why everybody misunderstood your favorite character, subscribe to Illuminati Pop, my TV and film essay channel. That's where you'll find fun deep dives on How I Met Your Mother, Sex and the City, Desperate Housewives, You, Euphoria, Insecure, Girlfriends, and more. And if you'd like to watch my videos uncensored, get early access, and support the channel directly, just join the Illuminati Pop Patreon. If you are looking for chaos and a good time, subscribe to Olay and Chill, where I unpack reality TV, TikTok drama, documentaries, chaos in internet, and whatever nonsense the internet has cooked up this week. If you'd like to watch me and some of my favorite Black creators and thinkers come together to discuss the culture, subscribe to Olay and Friends. If you're looking for shorter commentary on whatever the internet is currently spiraling about or whatever's on my mind, subscribe to Illuminati Bites. If you want to watch me and my bitch Kenny JD laugh, overshare, talk a little shit, and unpack the messiness of life, love, and the internet, and whatever foolishness we watching, subscribe to Olay and Kenny. If politics is more your thing and where you know me from, subscribe to Illuminati Politics for my State of the Union-like addresses on O Squared. And if music is your thing and you want to hear what I think about the latest albums and what I'm getting into, subscribe to Illuminati Extras. Subscribe to whichever corners of the Illuminati-verse speak to you, or subscribe to all of them and become a full-time resident. And while you're at it, you can follow me everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Twitter at Illuminati. You can also follow Illuminati Pop and Olay and Chill and Olay and Friends on social media so you never miss a thing. Welcome again to the Illuminati-verse. Now go look around a little bit, make yourself at home.